Megabyte.
Megabyte.
Megahertz.
Megahertz.
Megalith.
Megalith.
Megalomania.
Megalomania.
Megalomaniac.
Megalomaniac.
Megaphone.
Megaphone.
Megapixel.
Megapixel.
A 3-megapixel camera.
Megastar.
Megastar.
Megaton.
Megaton.
A 5-megaton atomic bomb.
Megawatt.
Megawatt.
Meh.
Meh. I thought the album was just kinda meh. I just feel so meh about everything.
Melamine. Melancholia.
Melancholia.
Melancholic.
Melancholy.
Melancholy.
He sank into deep melancholy.
Melange.
Mélange.
The population is a melange of different cultures.
Melanin.
Melanin.
Melanoma.
Melanoma.
Melatonin.
Melatonin.
Melba toast.
Melba toast.
Meld.
Meld.
He melded country music with blues to create rock and roll.
The raindrops melded into a sheet of water.
Melee.
Melee. Luckily, no one was hurt in the melee.
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 Mellifluous.
Mellifluous.
Mellow.
Mellow.
The mellow golden light of early evening. A warm, mellow voice. Its smooth, mellow flavour. Paul's certainly mellowed over the years. 2 pints of beer had mellowed my father. The bricks had mellowed to a soft red.
Melodic.
Melodic.
Their music is loud and not very melodic.
A deep melodic voice. There is very little melodic variation in the piece.
Melodious.
Melodious.
He spoke in a quiet, melodious voice.
Melodrama.
Melodrama.
He was behaving like a character in a Victorian melodrama.
Come on, there's no need for all this melodrama.
Melodramatic.
Melodramatic.
Stop being so melodramatic.
Melody.
Melody.
They played some lovely melodies.
A haunting melody.
Melon.
Melon.
Melt.
Melt.
It was warmer now, and the snow was beginning to melt.
Melt the butter in a saucepan. Melt the butter in a saucepan.
Opposition to the government melted away.
His anger slowly melted. His anger slowly melted.
She melted under his gaze.
My heart just melted when I saw her crying.
Closing her eyes, she melted into his embrace.
The demonstrators melted away at the first sign of trouble. Her determination to take revenge slowly melted away. A lot of the gold was melted down and used for making jewellery. Her irritation melted into pity. He is trying to melt into the background.
Meltdown.
Meltdown.
The stock market crash might lead to financial meltdown. The stock market crash might lead to financial meltdown.
Melting.
Melting.
Melting point.
Melting point.
Melting pot.
Melting pot.
Member.
Member.
The majority of union members voted in favour of a strike.
You can also invite members of your family.
He is a member of the local tennis club.
The plant is a member of the lily family.
Wolves and domestic dogs are members of the same species.
The member for Truro.
Member of Parliament.
Member of Parliament.
Membership.
Membership.
Greece first applied for membership of the EU in 1975.
I forgot to renew my membership in the sailing club.
You should carry your membership card with you at all times. You should carry your membership card with you at all times. Membership fees are being increased this year. The membership voted to change the rules about women members.
We're trying to increase our membership.
The club has a membership of 200.
Membrane.
Membrane.
Loud noise can damage the delicate membrane in the ear.
Meme.
Meme.
Some people regard religions as cultural memes.
Membrane.
Meme.
Memento.
Memento.
I kept the bottle as a memento of my time in Spain.
Memo.
Memo.
I sent him a memo reminding him about the meeting. A memo from the managing director to all heads of department.
Memoir.
Memoir.
Lady Thatcher had just published her memoirs.
Memorabilia.
Memorabilia.
A collection of war memorabilia.
Memorabilia.
Memorabilia. Memorable.
Memorable.
We want to make this a truly memorable day for the children.
Memorabilia. Memorable. Memorandum.
Memorandum.
Memorial.
Memorial.
The hospital was built as a memorial to King Edward VII.
An appeal has been launched to build a lasting memorial to the composer.
The garden is a memorial to one of the finest Victorian gardeners. A memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Memorialize.
Memorialize.
Memoriam.
Memoriam.
Memorize.
Memorize.
Memory.
Memory.
She has a terrible memory for names.
The pianist played the whole piece from memory. The image has remained in my memory ever since.
She talked about her memories of the war.
He has lots of happy memories of his stay in Japan.
When I saw the pictures, the memories came flooding back.
The data is stored in the computer's memory.
128 megabytes of memory.
Personal computers now have much increased memory capacity.
The worst floods in living memory.
It's certainly the best England team in recent memory.
The disaster was within the memory of many men still working at the station. The disaster was within the memory of many men still working at the station.
A statue in memory of those who died in the war. She set up a charitable fund in her father's memory. She died over 40 years ago, but her memory lives on.
There's a bench to his memory in the local park.
She returned to her old school yesterday for a trip down memory lane.
My memory must be playing tricks on me. I'm sure I put that book on the desk.
Memory card. Memory card.
Memory bank.
Memory bank.
Memory hog.
Memory hog.
Memory stick. Memory stick.
Mem Sahib.
Mem Sahib.
Men.
Men.
Menace.
Menace.
It's the only way to deal with the menace of drug dealing.
That man's a menace to society. He should be locked away.
The growing menace of oil pollution at sea.
There was menace in his voice.
There was a sense of menace as the sky grew darker.
My little brother's a real menace.
He was charged with demanding money with menaces.
The elephants are still menaced by poachers.
Menacing.
Menacing.
Dark, menacing clouds.
A low, menacing laugh.
His tone grew more menacing.
He moved towards her menacingly.
Ménage.
Ménage.
Ménage à toi.
Ménage à trois.
Menagerie.
Menagerie.
Mend. Mend.
My father used to mend our shoes.
When are you going to mend that light in the hall?
Tim can mend any broken toy.
His leg isn't mending as quickly as he'd expected.
If he doesn't mend his ways, he'll be asked to leave.
Is it too late to mend fences with your ex-wife?
I've tried to mend matters between us, but she's still very angry.
He's had flu, but he's on the mend.
Signs that the economy is on the mend.
Mendacious.
Mendacious.
Mendacious propaganda.
Mendacity.
Mendacity.
Mender.
Mender.
Mendicant.
Mendicant.
Mending.
Mending.
Menfolk.
Menfolk.
Many women took in washing to supplement the income of their menfolk.
Menial. Menial.
A menial job.
She did menial tasks about the house.
Meningitis.
Meningitis.
Meniscus.
Meniscus.
Menopause.
Menopause.
After the menopause, a woman cannot bear a child.
Menorah.
Menorah.
Mensch.
Mensch.
Menses.
Menses.
Men's room.
Men's room.
Menstrual period.
Menstrual period.
Menstruate.
Menstruate.
Menses.
Menstruate.
Menswear.
Menswear.
The menswear department.
Munt.
Munt.
The government. The replacement of something.
Some interesting new developments.
Governmental.
Mental.
Mental.
The centre provides help for people suffering from mental illness.
Stress has an effect on both your physical and mental health.
A child's mental development. You need to develop a positive mental attitude. I tried to get a mental picture of him from her description.
Sarah made a mental note to ask Janine about it later.
I got a complete mental block as soon as the interviewer asked me a question.
He must be mental.
I had a mental time at the festival. There was all sorts of crazy stuff going on.
I was exhausted, both physically and mentally.
Mental age.
Mental age.
A 25-year-old man with a mental age of 7.
Mental arithmetic.
Mental arithmetic.
I did a quick bit of mental arithmetic.
Mental hospital.
Mental hospital.
Mentality.
Mentality.
A get-rich-quick mentality.
I can't understand the mentality of the people who are behind this kind of violence.
Mentally handicapped.
Mentally handicapped.
Mentally ill.
Mentally ill.
Mentee.
Mentee.
Menthol.
Menthol.
Mentholated.
Mentholated.
Mention. Mention.
Was my name mentioned at all?
Some of the problems were mentioned in his report.
I mentioned the idea to Joan, and she seemed to like it.
He mentioned that he was having problems, but he didn't explain.
It's worth mentioning that they only studied a very small number of cases.
As I mentioned earlier, there have been a lot of changes recently.
She mentioned in passing that you had just been to Rome.
Now you mention it, I haven't seen her around lately. The report failed to mention that most of the landowners do not live on their properties.
Thanks for the ride home. Don't mention it.
Pollution has a negative effect on the health of everyone living in the city, not to mention the damage to the environment.
It's too far to walk, not to mention the fact that it'll probably be closed by now anyway. It's too far to walk, not to mention the fact that it'll probably be closed by now anyway.
He made no mention of his wife's illness. He made no mention of his wife's illness.
At the mention of a trip to the seaside, the children got very excited.
They all get a mention in the book.
There is one other person who deserves special mention. There is one other person who deserves special mention.
Mentor.
Mentor.
Now she mentors undergraduates who are training to be teachers. Now she mentors undergraduates who are training to be teachers.
Mentoring.
Mentoring.
Menu.
Menu.
Could we have the menu, please? Is there any fish on the menu?
A 3-course set menu.
Select print from the main menu.
Menu-driven.
Menu-driven.
Meow.
Meow.
MEP.
MEP.
Mephedrone.
Mephedrone.
Mercantile.
Mercantile.
Mercantile law.
Mercator projection.
Mercator projection.
Mercenary. Mercenary.
An army of foreign mercenaries.
A mercenary soldier.
She did it for purely mercenary reasons.
A mercenary attitude.
Mercerized cotton.
Mercerized cotton.
Merchandise. Merchandise.
A range of official Disney merchandise was on sale.
They inspected the merchandise carefully.
If the product is properly merchandised, it should sell very well.
Merchandising.
Merchandising.
The concerts generated £3 million in ticket and merchandising sales.
The director of merchandising.
Merchant.
Merchant.
He had a job with an Edinburgh wine merchant.
The son of a wealthy merchant.
Merchantable.
Merchantable.
Merchant bank.
Merchant bank.
Merchantman.
Merchantman.
Merchant navy.
Merchant navy.
John worked as a chef in the merchant navy.
Merchant seaman.
Merchant seaman.
Merciful.
Merciful.
I think my uncle's death was a merciful release for my poor aunt.
Merciful God, save us.
Mercifully.
Mercifully.
Mercifully, I managed to stop the car just in time.
The journey was mercifully brief.
Merciless.
Merciless.
A merciless attack.
A merciless killer. It brings some relief from the merciless summer heat.
He teased his sister mercilessly.
Mercurial.
Mercurial.
An actor noted for his mercurial temperament.
Her mercurial wit.
Mercury.
Mercury.
Temperatures on Mercury reach as high as 700 Kelvin.
Mercy.
Mercy.
He showed no mercy to his enemies.
God have mercy on his soul.
The boy was screaming and begging for mercy. After the boat's motor failed, they were at the mercy of the weather.
She was completely at his mercy.
Mercy mission to help homeless refugees. Mercy mission to help homeless refugees. It's a mercy the accident happened so near the hospital.
Mercy killing.
Mercy killing.
Mere.
Mere.
She lost the election by a mere 20 votes.
He's a mere child.
It can't be a mere coincidence that they left at the same time.
The merest little noise makes him nervous.
The mere thought of food made her feel sick. The mere fact that the talks are continuing is a positive sign.
Merely.
Merely.
He's merely a boy. You can't expect him to understand.
We're merely good friends.
He merely shrugged and walked away.
It's not merely a matter of cost, but whether she's old enough to go on holiday alone.
It's important to write these goals down rather than merely think about them.
Meretricious.
Meretricious.
Meretricious research.
Merge.
Merge.
The bank announced that it was to merge with another of the high street banks.
The company plans to merge its subsidiaries in the US.
Proposals to merge the 3 existing health authorities into one. The villages have grown and merged together over the years.
She avoided reporters at the airport by merging into the crowds.
Memories seem to merge with reality.
Merger.
Merger.
A proposed merger between 2 of the largest software companies.
There has been a lot of talk about a merger with another leading bank.
Merger negotiations.
Meridian.
Meridian.
Meringue.
Meringue.
Merino.
Merino.
Merit.
Merit.
The film has the merit of being short.
The merit of the report is its realistic assessment of the changes required. The great merit of the project is its flexibility and low cost.
Each of these approaches to teaching has its merits. Each of these approaches to teaching has its merits.
Tonight's meeting will weigh up the relative merits of the 2 candidates.
There is never any merit in being second best. There is never any merit in being second best.
The suggestion has some merit.
Students are selected solely on merit. A film lacking any artistic merit.
It's important to judge each case on its merits.
The results have been encouraging enough to merit further investigation.
It's a fascinating book which merits attention.
Meritocracy.
Meritocracy.
Meritorious.
Meritorious.
Mermaid.
Mermaid.
Merrily.
Merrily.
Sylvia laughed merrily.
The fire soon began to burn merrily.
The clock ticked merrily in the corner.
Meanwhile, the company is merrily pushing ahead with its plans.
Merriment.
Merriment.
Her eyes sparkled with merriment. The sounds of merriment.
Merry.
Merry.
He marched off, whistling a merry tune.
He's a lovely man with merry eyes and a wide smile.
Do you mind if I bring Tony?
No, of course not. The more the merrier.
Christmas is a time to eat, drink, and make merry.
The merry month of June.
Merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round.
The endless Washington merry-go-round of parties and socializing.
Merrymaking.
Merrymaking.
Mesa.
Mesa.
Mescaline.
Mescaline.
Mesh.
Mesh.
The windows were covered in wire mesh to keep out flies.
A mesh fence.
She had felt trapped by the old mesh of loyalty and shame.
His own ideas did not mesh with the views of the party. His own ideas did not mesh with the views of the party.
Mesmeric.
Mesmeric.
A mesmeric performance.
The mesmeric hum of the bees.
Mesmerize.
Mesmerize.
The first time I saw Diana, I was mesmerized by her beauty.
Mesozoic.
Mesozoic.
The Mesozoic era.
Mesquite.
Mesquite.
Mess.
Mess.
What a mess.
Sorry, the place is a bit of a mess.
When I got home, the house was a complete mess.
The burglars left the house in an awful mess.
You can make cookies if you promise not to make a mess in the kitchen. Whoever is responsible for this mess can clear it up immediately.
She hates mess.
My life's such a mess.
The economy is in a terrible mess. You got us into this mess, Terry. You can get us out of it.
All she could do was pray that somehow she might be able to sort out the mess she had got herself into.
I feel I've made a real mess of my marriage.
Many people make a mess of handling money.
A mess of fresh fish.
We had lunch in the office as mess.
The dogs made a mess on the carpet.
He scratched his head and messed his hair even more. He was so drunk that he messed the bed.
Williams won very comfortably, no messing.
He spent his vacation messing around on the farm.
Stop messing around and get ready for school.
Don't mess me around. I want the money you promised me.
She'd been messing around with another man.
Dave likes messing around with old cars. Who's been messing around with my camera?
It took me ages to get this right. I don't want some idiot to mess it up.
She felt she'd messed up her whole life.
Who messed up the kitchen?
I think I messed up on the last question.
It doesn't matter if you mess it up. You can always try again.
I messed up my kids. Don't mess with drugs.
You mess with me and I'll rip your head off.
Message.
Message.
There's a message from Karen on the answer phone. I have an urgent message for you.
He left a message saying he would probably be a little late.
The message of the film is that good always triumphs over evil.
The result of this legal battle sends an important message to people in similar situations. The result of this legal battle sends an important message to people in similar situations. The result of this legal battle sends an important message to people in similar situations.
It's perfectly possible to get your message across without being so angry.
They use illustrations to convey their message.
Okay, I get the message. I'm going.
I keep getting an error message when I try to log on.
Don't confuse the voters. Keep to the message.
You can message several people at once.